Hello everyone and welcome to one more video here at the Meta-Analysis Academy. My name is Rhanderson. I'm a cardiologist in Boston in the United States, and I'm a proud collaborator of the Meta-Analysis Academy. Listen, in this video, we're going to learn about the concept of a systematic review and meta-analysis. It's very important that you learn this because meta-analysis are a type of research that you can actually do yourself. In our program, we have several first year, second year, third year medical students, senior doctors, residents, interns who learn how to do research with autonomy because they learn the power of meta-analysis. So I'm going to give you some definition of what it is and give you some examples so you can be inspired and see how powerful this truly is. Let's take a look at this example here on the screen. Actually, before we do that, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because then you won't miss out on other videos that we show on topics that may be highly relevant to you. Also share it with your friends. All right, so in this example you see on the screen, we're talking here about contraception in postpartum women. Let's say you wanted to figure out if you should do, or if doctors, if gynecologists, obstetricians should be doing immediate long-acting contraception for women, of course, who desire contraception, versus delayed long-acting contraception implanted after birth. So should you wait a few weeks or just do it within the first weeks after delivery? So obviously, if we're talking about contraception, the main outcome we care about is pregnancy, because women want contraception to avoid pregnancy. So if we're going to see if contraception works or not, we need to be looking at whether women get pregnant or not. It's a very simple and straightforward study. So let me explain to you a very important concept. When you do a study, let's say it's in your hospital, it's in London, it's in Boston, it's in Bogota or New Delhi. Whenever you do a study, you're actually looking at a small sample of what could be the population in the whole world. Let me give you a more specific example. In the contraception study that I just outlined to you, if we were to do a study here in Boston, I live very close to one of the largest hospitals here in Boston. If we were to do a study in that hospital about immediate versus delayed contraception in women postpartum, we would still only be looking at a small sample size of all the potential women in the world, in the United States, in Europe, in South America, and Asia, who could get pregnant or not after delivering a baby in the next few months. So the point I'm trying to make is, even if you do a really large randomized controlled trial, it's still a sample for what could be the whole population in the world about that given topic. But when doctors do studies, we tend to have common clinical questions all over the globe. People in Hong Kong right now who are doctors, they also have the same questions that we do in Brazil, in Canada, in Germany. So there tend to be these studies being done all over the world, either at the same time or sequentially on the same topics. And remember, they're all samples. They're all samples of what could be the entire population in the world on that topic. But when you do a meta-analysis, what you do is you aggregate, you synthesize, you put together these populations from different studies done all over the world. We also call this a pooled analysis. So a meta-analysis, in other words, is a pooled analysis of all studies on a given topic. So this particular clinical question that I just put out to you, this was actually published by one of our students, Enrique and Yasmin. Caroline, also our student in the Meta-Analysis Academy, maybe others. So these students got together from the Meta-Analysis Academy and published this great paper in the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Yasmin actually has a beautiful story. She matched for obstetrics and gynecology in the United States. So a really great example of someone building a strong CV with research and using that to advance her career. She matched University of Missouri, Kansas City in a very competitive specialty, which is OBGYN. So again, they published this paper on immediate versus delayed postpartum insertion of long-acting reversible contraception. But this is a study that has this is a meta-analysis, as I just explained to you. But in the meta-analysis, what they're doing is putting together the data from multiple studies. One was published in 2016, the other one in 2017, the other one in 2018. So these were published at different places in the world. Maybe the United States, maybe Germany, maybe somewhere in Africa, maybe in Asia, maybe in South America. So these studies were published all over the world, but Enrique and Yasmin and all these students of the Meta-Analysis Academy put these studies together to generate a new result. And that's essentially what a meta-analysis is. And it's so powerful because now instead of having 45 patients or 90 patients or 40 patients or just 7 patients, you have a sample of nearly 800 patients. It's a large sample size. Why? Well, essentially because they got data from multiple studies all over the world. That's what a meta-analysis is. You get studies from all over the world and you put the data together to generate a new result. All right? That's what a meta-analysis is. That's what it is. Now, so here's the formal definition: quantitative synthesis of the results of studies that are similar to each other. But what about a systematic review? These studies are systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Actually, just want to show you another meta-analysis of a student from Colombia. Natalia is a student from the Meta-Analysis Academy, and she published this in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases. I forgot exactly how many patients she had in this study, but it was, I think, more than 1,000 patients, a large amount of patients. But these patients are not from Colombia, where Natalia is from. They're from all over the world. They got multiple studies of patients with embolic stroke of undetermined source comparing direct oral anticoagulants to aspirin. Natalia actually matched in neurology at the University of Miami. A really great example, again, on how you can use this to advance and boost your career. But look, there's 3,000 patients in the study because it combines populations from the Arcadia trial published in 2024, the Atticus trial published in 2023. So multiple studies from all over the world that come together to generate a powerful trial, powerful meta-analysis that includes the data from all these studies. But what about a systematic review? You've certainly seen that most meta-analyses are accompanied by a systematic review. What is that exactly? Well, I'm going to explain to you right now. A systematic review is the step that precedes the meta-analysis. A systematic review is the step-by-step process to identify the studies, to appraise the studies, and to synthesize studies. We synthesize with math in the meta-analysis. The meta-analysis is the math, is putting together the studies. But before that, you have to build the question. You have to identify the studies. You have to collect the data. You have to appraise the data too. This entire process, the step-by-step, before and after we do the meta-analysis, which is the statistics, meta-analysis is the math, is putting the data together. But the systematic review is the process of finding these studies. But Rhanderson, which studies? All of them. In a systematic review, we want to put together all the studies that meet pre-specified eligibility criteria to answer a specific question. That's what we want to do. We want to put all these studies together. So we have to build the clinical question. We have to go out there and find the studies, triage them, select them, collect the data, appraise the quality of the studies, then report it. That's what a systematic review is. So again, when someone asks you what's a meta-analysis, meta-analysis is when we put together mathematically the data from different studies that are similar to each other, and we generate a pooled analysis. Whereas a systematic review is the process by which we build that question, identify the studies, collect the data, appraise the studies, and report the synthesis of those studies as well. So that's it. That's what a systematic review and meta-analysis is. I hope you realize that the study is not happening within the walls of your hospital. It's happening in your computer. It's happening with just internet connection and the knowledge that we teach you in the Meta-Analysis Academy. So I hope you will join us. The waitlist link will be here below. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you all later for our next video. Bye-bye.